What is the 28th thing that I would do differently if I were going to college today? I would invest in a Roth IRA starting freshman year of college. Hi, I'm Passion Darby, and this month I am sharing with you 31 things that I would do differently if I were going to college today. 31 years ago, almost to date, I was an 18-year-old young woman, and I decided that I was going to college no matter what. And I did go to college that fall. It was fall of 1993. So here I am 31 years later, and I have amassed a wealth of information, knowledge, and experience and wisdom that I am going to be sharing with college going students today through this channel. So, what is the 28th thing that I would do differently if I were going to college today? I would invest in a Roth IRA starting my freshman year of college. So, first, I guess I need to explain to you all, in case you don't know, because when I was 18, I absolutely did not know, had never even heard of a Roth IRA. But if you don't know, I'll tell you a Roth IRA is a retirement account. Now, I can hear you all saying the same things that I would have said at what I assume is your age, which is my goal is to speak to college goers today. So the younger college goers and even the adult college goers, because I did not learn about the Roth until I was an adult. So whomever I am speaking to, the I know that you may be thinking, okay, retirement is so far off for me, but you would be surprised at how quickly years pass. Years are very, very short. They may seem long, but they're not long and they go by fast. And I want to let you be completely transparent. Oftentimes we think we have time and we don't. We also think that we'll do it one day and we don't. And I actually recently completed Financial Peace University, which is Dave Ramsey's wonderful course. And one of the things that Dave Ramsey stated in one of the webinars that really resonated with me is that things don't get done often simply because we don't do them. And I know I grew up with a lot of people who were older than me, and they did not have any money for retirements, not because they did not make a lot of money during their working years, but because they simply never invested. They never did the actual investing. So I don't want that to be you. So please do not think that you're too young to start thinking about this. Please don't think that retirement is a long way off. And because it is my sincere hope that more college students, particularly college students who look like me, retire early and not spend their entire working years working. I think that this is a conversation that we need to begin having now. So, going back to what a Roth IRA is, it is an individual retirement account. That's what IRA stands for, IRA, individual retirement account. Now, the Roth portion of that term is named after the U.S. Senator, the United States Senator William Roth, who was an advocate of retirement plans and investing for retirement. So together, the term is Roth IRA, Roth IRA, Roth Individual Retirement Account. Now, what's special about the Roth is that it is funded with after tax dollars. So, this is very important. So, if you are an employee or a self employed person, which I hope that you are aiming to be, or a business owner, read Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, and you will understand the difference between those two things. But whenever you receive any type of compensation, you will be taxed on that compensation. So the money that you receive after you are taxed is the money that you invest in a Roth IRA. And when you withdraw that money in retirement, which I think retirement age now is 67, you will be able to withdraw that money tax free. That is a major benefit. Now, I'm going to assume that you all may not know a lot about taxes only because when I was in college, I did not know anything about taxes. So, taxes, of course, you have to pay taxes to our government, which, to be honest with you, I don't mind paying my share because I feel like I have a great benefit as an American, or some privileges, particularly my US passport. I am happy to pay for that service alone, to be honest with you. But you never want to overpay your taxes, and you never want to pay taxes that you do not necessarily have to pay. If there are some ways you can get around paying some taxes, please pursue those. But going back to the IRA, one of the ways you can get around paying the taxes is through the Roth IRA, because you would have already paid the taxes through your compensation. And when you withdraw the money in retirement, you will do so tax free. That is a great benefit. So every year, the Internal Revenue Service determines and publishes how much an individual can contribute to the Roth IRA. Now, when I first learned about the Roth IRA, to be honest with you, it was in the year 2000. I was already in graduate school. I was 25 years old at the time and in graduate school. So if you start investing in your Roth IRA in college or even in high school, you'll be way ahead of even my generation. But going back to the contribution, in that year, 2000, the contribution was $3,000. So I, as an individual, was able to invest $3,000 in the year 2000 into a Roth IRA. But here now in 2024, the contribution has increased dramatically, and you can invest $7,000 every year into the Roth IRA. So it has grown a lot over the years, and that's probably because our government is intelligent enough to know that, so when your generation retires, social security payments will probably not be available, and they may not even be available for my generation, and I am 49 years old. So that's something to be aware of. And then also, a lot of companies are no longer offering pensions. And for instance, my parents and my grandparents generation, their companies offer pensions. I have not heard of a company offering pensions in a very, very long time in my generation. So it is important to understand that the different contributions and how they increase every year, and that you do everything in your power to max out that contribution, so that by the time you are in retirement, you will have amassed a great amount of wealth and you can retire comfortably. So, as I was saying, well, let me take a step back. Why is this important to me? Well, because I only learned about the Roth when I was 25, like I said, and time flies by really fast. I actually remember when I graduated from undergrad, I came home and I was having a conversation with my father, and I was 23 years old. And I told my dad that I wanted to retire at age 40. And I had no idea what that meant. I just knew I didn't want to work the rest of my life. And my father told me, Passion, whatever you want to do, I want you to understand that time flies really fast. You can blink your eye and you'll be 40. And I was a 23-year-old child, and I believe that I was a child because I feel like when your parents or your grandparents are still funding you, you are a child. And my grandmother and my grandmother was really helping me out at that time. I think I was living with her, and even though I had a college degree, I had like no clue. And so I considered myself a child at that time. But I brushed him off, because I didn't brush him off, obviously, because I still remember what he said and it stayed with me for years. But I really didn't take it seriously because I was thinking, well, I'm 23. I mean, 40 years old. I mean, that's like tons of years from now. But you know what? He was right. You will blink your eye and you will be 40 before you know it. Time passes by really, really fast. And I don't want you all to take that for granted like I did. So he was right. Passes by really fast. And so I didn't take that seriously. And I thought I had more time. Number three reason why I think this is important. I don't think I began numbering, but this is how it is on my notes. So please forgive me. But like I said, I learned from the first time I learned about the Roth IRA was when I was 25, and I learned about watching the Susie Orman show. Now, Susie Orman has retired now, very wealthy, by the way. But I learned about it by watching her show. I think her show was on CNBC at the time. And I learned about it, and I immediately began to invest in a Roth IRA. But I was not consistent. So I'm going to talk to you all about being consistent. And had I been consistent and had I always kept income coming in, as I'm going to advise you all to do shortly, I would have been retired by now. So I'm not really upset because I've learned different financial tools that I can use to catch up and things like that. But why even have to go through that? Please, like I'm learning from the generations that came before me, please learn from my generation and let's stop playing catch up, particularly as Black people. Let's stop playing catch up and let's start playing I am ahead of the game. Also, I did not know any how important investing was when I was in college. So like I said, when I started my freshman year in college, I had never even heard of the Raw, but my father had began sending me business books and I started reading them, but I didn't understand how important it was to save for retirement and how to just go ahead and do it instead of just thinking about it and letting years and years and years pass by. I didn't understand that. And then also, I did not have any income in undergrad. I think that is terrible. One of my biggest regrets, as you all may have learned in earlier in this series, is that I did not work throughout undergrad. I hate that I didn't do that. And while I know my parents intended to give me the ultimate college experience, and they did, not only my parents, but my grandmother as well, they really worked hard so that I did not have to work during undergrad. I really wish they would have made me work. I really, really do. I wish they would have required me to keep at least a part-time job while I was in undergrad so that I could have learned to manage money earlier and invest earlier. But they did not require me to work, and I'm grateful for that in some ways, but I really wish they had. So I'm advising you to always keep income. And when, like I said, when I was in undergrad, my parents took good care of me and my grandmother took good care of me. So I didn't work. That is not a good thing. But now I can play catch up. I've studied financial literacy in depth over the last couple of years. I'm studying it more and more as the years go by. And as the days go by, I'm always reading about money. And I do now know that I can catch up. But like I said, I want you all to learn from my mistakes. Why make life harder than it needs to be? And then another thing that always inspires me, and not that it's a positive thing because it's not, but even today, I went to Walmart to pick up my household products for February 2024. And the woman who was helping me was so tired. She was an elderly woman. And it hurts me to see elderly people working. It really, really hurts me. And when I was asking her for explanations about a return that I had made, I noticed that she had to pause for a while to get her thoughts together before she could explain to me what my refund or my return was about and how long it had taken, things like that. But because I was raised to respect my elders, I was very patient with her, of course, but it still broke my heart to see this woman who was elderly and barely able to stand up straight, still having to work. So that is what inspires me. I learned from the generations that came before me. So I'm begging you to learn from my generation and not make the same mistake of not doing what my generation could have done or some members of my generation could have done differently. Just like I learned from the ladies that I see in Walmart, when it really hurts me to see them working at their elderly age when they really should be resting and basking in financial freedom. Learn from my mistakes. So I just wanted to share that with you all as just like a transparent moment, because it really does hurt me and I don't want you all to go through those things. So just learn from my mistakes and that of my generation. So how can you make a different choice and take different action? Number one, please always have income while you're in college. If you are truly going to invest in a Roth IRA starting in freshman year, as I am advising you to do, you must have income to do that. I need you to consider having either starting a business, as we talked about in this series many times, or having some sort of employment, or taking the money that your parents or your caregivers give to you. So I talked about even how when I was a freshman, my father gave me $200 before he dropped me off. When he was dropping me off at Philander Smith College in my freshman year of college, and I took that money and went and bought an outfit. Terrible. So don't do that. Don't do that. Use the income that you get from your business, your employer, or your parents and caregivers, and use that to invest in a Roth IRA. Number two, begin investing in the Roth IRA in the first month of your freshman year, and don't stop until you retire. Consistency, my friends, is key. Be consistent, but the best time to develop a habit like that is when you are young. So start the first month that you go off to your freshman year in college and just keep going. Number three, going back to what I just said, be consistent. Never stop. No matter what else you got going on, invest in that Roth IRA every month until you retire. Number four, divide the contribution amounts by 12 for 12 months and contribute that amount monthly. So let's go give an example. This year, 2024, the contribution is $7,000. If you divide that by 12 months, that means it comes up to $583.33, which means that you need to invest $583.33 every month. This amount of money can be earned through minimum wage or by generating minimum revenue in your college business. So you do not have to make tons of money to achieve this goal. Most of us can come up with a quick $583 a month. So just break it down into small chunks, divide and conquer it. Also, so going back, at age 18, if you invest $7,000 per year at the rate of return at 10%, which is the average rate of return or the historical rate of return for the S&P 500, and if you do not know what that is, it is an index fund. Please, it's an index, and you can invest in that index as a fund. Please do research on it. But if you invest $7,000 per year at a rate of 10%, by age 60, starting at age 18, you will have $2,700,000 and by age 65. That is a miracle. And the miracle is called time multiplied by compound interest. If you want to know more about compound interest, please do your own research so that you can begin to educate yourself about finances. But remember, the first step is just starting. And the second step is continuing to invest. And by the time you are 65 with that small investment, you will have more than almost $3 million. And then keep in mind that I only said $7,000 per year, but you have to remember this contribution amount increases every year. So you'll have more than that if you begin at age 18 and you stop investing by age 65. The next thing, financial literacy. Start educating yourself on finances now. Make it a co-curriculum for you. Yes, you have your academic major, but why can't you create a self-directed curriculum of money management, finances, entrepreneurship, investing? You can do that. If I were you, I would read a book a quarter, one book per quarter. And by the time you graduate, you would have read 16 books about finances. That's an excellent goal. The next thing is um, that I want to talk about. Let me see, I'm looking at my notes. Sorry about that. Oh, and so I want to say this, make this point as I conclude this video. This may sound like a boring thing to you, and I really want to talk to Black students when I talk about this, because I hear this in our community. I grew up in the Black community, and I hear this type of discourse. It seems as if some of us don't like to do boring things. It seems as some of us feel like there has to be a struggle, that it has to be difficult. I need us to abandon that state of mind in college, so that when you are an adult, once you finally graduate and go out into the real world, you have become accustomed to an easy way of life, and thinking and an understanding that life can be easy. I don't want you thinking that, oh, this just invest $583 a month. Oh, that's so boring. That's not exciting. I don't want you to think that investing has to be sexy. It does not. It's not about being entertained. It's not there to entertain us. It's there to support us, secure us, stabilize us, and protect us, and to make sure we can stay free. But it's these are easy steps to make. And so I want us to take it easy. I want us to take a step back as Black people, in particular, Black students, Black college students, and say, it's okay for me to have the easy route. It's okay for me to take the boring route. Yes, investing can be boring. All I got to do is take the annual contribution rate that the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, has set, divided by 12, invest that amount every month, and forget about it. Yes, you can do it. It is literally that simple. And the mistake that I made when I was in college, I thought it was more complicated than that. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't do it. It's not more complicated than that, young people. Please hear me and hear me good. It's not more complicated than that. It's simply that easy. And I want us, particularly as Black college students, to start expecting ease. Release the need to struggle, release the belief that we have to struggle, or that it can't be as easy for us as it is for other people. So while this is applicable to all college students, this video is applicable to all college students. All college students can invest and take advantage of the Roth IRA. Wanted to just have a heart to heart with Black college students for right now, because I know how we can talk at times, because I am a Black college student, and I have been since I was 18. And so I just know that I know me and my peers, when we were in undergrad, we thought that investing was for rich people. We thought we had to struggle for it. We thought that it was super hard. And so we never got started. And if we did get started, we didn't stay consistent because it was too easy. It was too boring. And so I want you to have the mindset that I have finally developed in my life at my age, which is, it's okay for it to be easy. It's okay for it to be boring. It's okay to set it and forget it, and go ahead and invest and retire young and retire early, and live a good life while you're still in your youth. So I hope that this helped you. This is probably one of the most transparent videos I've made in this series, but I cannot complete this series without including this, because this is truly something that I would do differently if I were going to college today. Thank you so much for listening, and please go to college.